And I will go in here and share the actual software itself. So let me know if you can see this okay. Is that showing up okay on your screen, guys?
Yeah, we're good here.
Okay. All right. So what we have here is a dashboard when we log in. And what I like to do during the demos is I like to walk you through the different menu options and show you two things. First of all, what are the major modules and major features within the software? But I also do that hoping that you'll get an idea of how easy it is to use and easy it is to navigate. Our customers tell us it's easy to use. They enjoy the menus and being able to move around, but that's really an individual thing, so you need to kind of make your own decision on that. But what I'll do here is I'll start with the dashboard. We have a dashboard that can be configurable, and configurable is what I mean by that is based on your role or your preferences at your company, you may want to see different things. Gabriel may want to see different things, and so we put a widget on the dashboard where he sees the work orders or the one-off jobs. And then you may have an estimator or a project manager, and we're working on something called a job board. And a job board is essentially what jobs are either planned or real, in other words, already started on a job board, so you can see who's doing what, when, and where. And then you put that on your dashboard. And a lot of companies are a little different. They have different things that they want to track on a job board. Everything down from a company car. I doubt you have company cars in the middle of the ocean, but maybe you have some equipment that you want to track, or project managers that you want to track, or different things, and put it on what we call this job board. Okay. And then the job board is very similar to what we have here called a bid calendar. And this is outstanding bids, who's working on what bids for what customer. Those are available on this thing called a bid calendar. And then you can drill down into the actual opportunity or the job itself by clicking on these little buttons. So that covers the dashboard. Now we have the CRM module, and obviously the CRM module allows you to manage your leads or your opportunities. You can filter and sort as needed, and it saves your criteria, as you can see there. You'll be able to manage your customers being any customer that you do business with, and categorized by essentially any categories that you want to put in place. Our typical customer tracks general contractors, building owners. You may want to track things a little bit differently, but the point is you're able to track and manage your customers right from here. And then what you can do is you can search by the Sage customer number and pull them up real quickly on your screen. And then from there, you have all your contacts, your addresses, any open activity that's going on with the customer, history, notes, all the documents and photos, all the proposals you've ever sent them. Now, we'll be pulling job history out of Sage, okay? So that for your customers, you'll be able to see the job history, even if it did not go through CRM, if that makes sense. Because, Gabriel, I would imagine, and I don't know this for sure, but I imagine a lot of those one-offs don't go directly through CRM in a big long sales process. A lot of those probably go directly into Sage. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we anticipate those kind of things, and so what we do is we pull that information in from Sage, and then we put that on the history for the customer. but that also allows us to run reports for the customer. Okay. And the reports being, revenue, revenue forecasting, things like that. Sage, I'm sure Sage has a lot of really good reports on that, but we marry that up with what's in the pipeline, and then you can pull a report and show revenue based on what's in the pipeline and what are real jobs. So if you can see this, okay, it kind of scrolls a little bit to the right as you add months, but I can do a revenue forecast from April, 6 months out, and then what I'm looking at is, planned jobs that are in the pipeline, like I said, and then also real jobs that are in Sage. You put those in one place. Okay, so you can manage your customers. Now I'm going to go back to the accounts real quickly. The customer information includes that job history that we're pulling in from Sage, but also we're going to get financial history. Financial history allowing you to see how much credit they have available, if they're paying their bills, and then the invoice history. Now, we're not attempting to replace Sage in any way or any of the features in any way, but what our point is by having this information from Sage in accounting is as you're managing your customers, it is customer relationship management, and you want to call on a customer or you're attempting to maybe bid out a job, you have a full picture of what's going on with that customer. Before you pick up the phone and call them, you may have a meeting with them to review job history or just to check in with one of your bigger customers. And it helps to know what's going on, including if they owe you money, if they're paying their bills, and what kind of jobs you have going on with them, and all the job history as well. And then also what's planned, what potential opportunities do you have with that customer? Okay, so it's good stuff.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
On the financial history, I like that, it kind of shows what's going on with them. Can it show like if they're typically a month or 2 months late paying invoices, or does it just show if they currently have been paid or not?
Well, that's what there's some aging balances right there.
Okay.
But that's a summary. I assume, is that you, Kelly?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Kelly, that's a summary of their balances. Okay. Now, if we need to add a column here that says this invoice, I'm a QuickBooks user, sorry for that, but I use QuickBooks to run this business, and I know, how old a particular invoice will be. We can certainly add that in there if that's what
okay.
As well. That's the easy stuff, right? Yeah. So I think that's where you're probably going with the question, but we try to put a summary here, and then we can certainly add, an aged balance next to each invoice if we need to. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the question. All right, so we have, we can also, by the way, just briefly, we can connect this to if you have one of the Sage estimating products, either basic, standard, or extended, or another bidding system, we can hook it up there and put the bids history in for a customer as well. And what we're attempting to do again in CRM is provide good customer data for you, and that's one of the things you said during the last time we met is that you have most of you have a deep relationship with your customers, but also you get repeat business from your customers. And one of the things that we love to do is put these things on reports, and the reports will show maybe a trend with a customer. Maybe they're stopped throwing bids your way, or they are throwing bids your way and you're losing them, and you used to win them. These little exception reports, I would actually argue that they're big reports to help you understand your business and what's going on with your customers. Maybe before it's too late, something went wrong on the project and they're not giving you any more jobs, or the one-off jobs. this would give you an opportunity maybe to head those off before it gets too far down the road. Okay, so we obviously CRM manages contacts, and then open tasks. Now I can't remember from our last discussion. Do you supply multiple bids for one job, or is it pretty much a customer comes to you and it's one bid per job?
Usually one bid per job.
Yeah, one job.
Okay, so the bid tracking won't necessarily apply to you in the way that we've designed it. This is multiple bids for the same job so that you can track if multiple people came to you and said, hey, I want you to do this job, but you're only going to win one of those, you're not going to win all of them. That's what that's for future reference. But also under bids and proposals is tracking all your outstanding bids like we just showed you, and we call it the bid calendar. But then also you can go back and look at all the proposals and manage all your proposals that you've sent and do it by customer and status. Okay, we have the email marketing module. Email marketing module will allow you to reach out to your customers, any contact or company in your database, and build out a very professional looking email. You can target the email based on the contact type or the customer type or the type of work that you do for those customers. Okay, I apologize, my allergies are getting to me here a little bit. But being able to target your customers very narrowly is a really nice feature, because we have all this data within CRM. But then also when you build out an email, you can simply drop some text in there, maybe an image and a link behind the image, and then when you preview it, it's your company's branding on the email that we've built for you. We have a graphic artist on staff that helps us do it, or we work with your marketing firm if you have one. And then it puts the right fonts and colors and everything into the email. And then when you send it or schedule it, you're able to track it against the customer data, against the contacts, and even the jobs to be able to see, are they getting my emails? Are they opening my emails? Are they opting out of my emails? Sorry, I went to one that hasn't been sent yet. Are they opting out of my emails? Are the emails bouncing for whatever reason? And the neat thing about having CRM and email marketing together is you have all that data in one place, all the history for your customers. Yes, you have the jobs. Yes, you have the financials, the proposals, but then you have, all the conversations you've had with your customers. You have the emails you've sent them. It's all in one place, and you're not trying to move data back and forth between systems or try to coordinate it with Outlook, for that matter, or if you use Outlook. Okay, tons of reports. We love these reports. We continue to build out reports. We have reports that, for instance, track bid performance. And bid performance, for example, can be done by an individual estimator, or you could look at it by customer. You could also look at it by type. And sorry, this is maybe missing some data there. But you have different ways of looking at these reports, these performance reports. Additionally, you can track the bid status of all your bids in a report and look at all your outstanding bids, the bids that have been submitted, the bids that have been awarded, and the bids that have lost over a time frame. Okay, and so we have a lot of different types of reports. We have canned, pipeline reports as an example for your leads and your opportunities. We have a report builder. So this is looking at your opportunity funnel. And we love these report builders because you can easily go in and kind of build your own report based on the information you want to see, how you want to group the information. In this case, we're looking at a report that was built for we want to see new leads, bids submitted, jobs awarded, and then lost sale. And we want to do this by project manager. Okay, and that's what we're doing here. But we might want to do that by job type. So I could rebuild a report and say, I want the types of jobs. So maybe you're tracking the one-offs versus the projects, the projects, and you're looking at a count over each month of the year to date. Okay, so I'm looking at job types and status, bids submitted, jobs awarded, and new leads, and it counts them all up for you. That's just one way of doing it, but you may want to look at things differently. And then the neat thing is you can save this layout for the next time you log in, and then everything in our system in terms of reporting is exportable to Excel or PDF. That includes the canned reports, okay, that I just showed you. That includes any report builder. That includes the custom reports that we can add to the system for you. And that also includes, well, of course, any Excel extracts, which is our fourth type of report that allows you to pull reports out, save them to Excel, and then if you like to do Excel reporting or import it into another reporting system, you can do so. Okay. We have a content center which allows you to store and manage valuable documents such as proposal templates, worksheets. You can store things like references, security information, insurance requirements that you may need to submit on a proposal. Basically, any type of document can be stored in the content center. And the neat thing about the content center is you can, of course, retrieve these documents, but you can add them to tasks. For instance, if you have a task where you need to go out and do a bid or some information on the job, you could attach a checklist to that task. And that checklist includes, all the things you need to do, but you can also fill in the blanks on that checklist automatically, with the job location or the customer information or something like that. But also, when you're adding those things to proposals, it also fills in the blanks with the customer information, the job location, the job details. And I'll show that to you in a second. Okay, so let me close out that and close the bid calendar. Now, help is one thing I often forget is to go into the Help Center. And the Help Center is very important, mainly because you have videos and how-to guides on all the different subjects. But this little button up here on how to get support allows you to attend training any day of the week, Monday through Friday. And this is live training. It comes with your subscription. You don't have to pay for it. It's there as long as you're a customer. You can email us, you can call us, or you can go to training. It's available as long as you're a customer, like I said. So that's very, very useful. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and dive into the proposal builder, because I want to show you how we build a proposal, and then you can send it and track it along with getting an email receipt or a text receipt when they receive the proposal, and then it also changes the status to bid submitted with an automatic follow-up plan that follows up with it. So I'm going to go into one of my opportunities. I put a big asterisk next to this so I can find it. But I'm going to go ahead and drill down into one of my opportunities. Okay. And let me change the status real quickly. I want to show you something here. I'm going to go over to the follow-up plan, and I'm going to change the status to invitation to bid. So invitation to bid means they've sent me an RFQ to bid on that job. And you can see, I don't know if you saw that, but as I changed the status, I got a new plan. And the new plan automatically sent out an email that said, thank you for the opportunity. It also has a task on here. Remember, I mentioned the checklist that goes to the project manager or the estimator, and that checklist is a list of items you want to go through to prepare your quote. Okay. And so GoToMeeting slows things down just a tad, but now we have that. And so this is an example of a checklist that you might attach to a task. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and look at all the bids I've put on this opportunity. And you're allowed to prepare multiple bids for an opportunity because you may have sent one that was rejected or needs to be revised because the scope of the project may have changed. And so you can have multiple proposals against this same job. You can assign one or more estimators to that job, and as soon as they're assigned, send them an alert that says, hey, get to work on this. And then that estimator will receive not only an alert that they have a job that they need to start working on, but as the date approaches the due date of that proposal, the bid due date, they'll also receive alerts and reminders. Okay, make sure things don't fall through the cracks, or make sure you don't miss any deadlines. All right, so now that I can go in and drill down into one of these proposals, and to build out my proposal, what I'm able to do is assemble documents, and I think I'm getting a little bit carried away with my demo here, but I'm able to build out a proposal with 6 separate documents, okay, that make up one proposal. I also can add a worksheet to my proposal and some PDF addendums, a list of safety records, references, job history, type references, or maybe some of our customers often submit a profile for the project manager that they're submitting with the proposal. This is the project manager that's going to be working on your job. That may not apply to you, but it's a common thing here for our customers. Okay, so now that I'm going to go in and build my proposal, and remember I mentioned the Content Center, we can add documents to that proposal, okay, directly from the Content Center, so I can pull it right out of the Content Center, or you may just choose to pull it right off your hard drive. Now, the neat thing about items that are in the Content Center is you can add database fields to those documents that are, like I said, fill in the blank. So customer name, fill in the blank, proposal submitted date, fill in the blank, so that you're not having to type all this in every single time. Okay, and then once you have that document, you can view it with sample data, with the company name and a date on there. Okay, so that's a cover page that you might put on your proposal. And then you might also add, as the second document in the sequence of documents, a cover letter. Let's view this with sample data and see it. It's on your letterhead. It's got a signature block and everything that looks really, really nice. All these documents can be edited directly in the system from this Word-like editor, and that's what I did here during another demo. But let me go ahead and take this out, show you how that can be done. I'm going to save it, and now that will be gone. Okay. I also can add, the actual proposal itself. This may be a breakdown of costs for the proposal. And actually, in this case, I added data directly from a worksheet onto the proposal right here. So you can integrate a worksheet that you may have used to build the proposal with into the actual proposal. And here's, again, a breakdown of costs. Okay. And then, again, you may add, the specs for the job, all kinds of different things, a list of references, whatever they may ask for on that job. And then once you go into the actual proposal and generate it, you get this nice professionally built document with your cover page, your cover letter, the actual proposal with data directly out of Excel if you want to use Excel data. This is kind of long, sorry for that. The specs, references, all in one proposal, and then you can email it directly from the system. And it attaches it as a single PDF directly to that email. Now, I'm like most people, I want to go look at that PDF just to make sure it looks good before I send it. So that's what I'm doing now. And there's my proposal in one PDF. And then when I email it, okay, I'm going to get a receipt. And you can kind of check the boxes off here to say, send me a receipt when they've opened it. Okay. And then also you can add additional folks to the distribution list. And this is connected right to your database. So your list of contacts. And you might want to add different appendices to it as well, from the content center or from your hard drive. Okay. So that is the proposal builder. Now, one of the things that we found that our customers love is the fact that they can build a proposal and then they can copy that proposal, find a similar one and just copy it and create a new one. And that new one copies all these documents here so that all you have to do is maybe change the customer name, maybe tweak it a little bit, and then you have a new proposal without having to recreate all this from scratch. Okay. Same thing from within managing your proposals. If I go in here and I can pull up a particular customer and say, this is Exxon. I think we have Exxon in here. Yep, Exxon Chemical. I don't have any proposals for Exxon. But let's just say this is one of my common ones. I can find a proposal for a similar job that I did, this job, and I can copy that proposal as well and create a new one. Okay, so that is running through essentially the main features of the software. It's probably a good time to see if you have any questions or want to go drill down into one of these items and see more data.
Yeah, I don't have any questions at this time.
You guys scared me. I thought like GoToMeeting stopped again or something.
So when you're making a proposal like that, or can you do a bid as well and track the amount?
Yes.
You were saying.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish the question, please.
Oh, you were saying earlier that you pulled your bids in from like Sage or another program, but can you just do it all within TopBuilder while you're bidding?
It doesn't prepare bids for you. It's not an estimating program. Okay. So what it will allow you to do, if I go back into that job, okay, is you can put an estimate ID in here, okay, and that will tie into your estimating software, whether it be Sage, one of the Sage estimating products or something else, and pull in the bid, which will go right here. Okay. Now you can hand key it in, of course, and then put it on the, add it to the proposal from there. But that's really at this point the extent on how we pull in an individual bid for that proposal. But again, you can also get a bid history for the customer in there too. If that's answering your question.
Well, we don't use an estimating software because the bidding is fairly straightforward. And yeah, we've done it a million times. So we kind of know where we need to be depending on the project. So it's pretty straightforward. Is there an easy way that we can just enter the information directly into a bid or proposal template?
Yes. Yes, there is. These.
I mean, any sort of, I mean, we obviously run our costs, but, and then we do that in our own Excel templates that we have developed, and they're not super advanced. We don't really need to pull in, you know, just a million line items. We usually have like 4 line items on our bids, you know, it's pretty straightforward.
Perfect. Okay, so the answer is yes, and I'll give you an example. So let me grab this particular item. This cover, let's say this cover letter is your bid template. Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's say this is a Word document. I know you said you had templates in Excel, but it's kind of the same thing. Let me scroll down so you can see this a little better. So I'm going to take this Word document, and this will be your letterhead that we'll build out for you to make it look good. And then what you can do is add these fields from the database, which make it the fill in the blank items for your template. So all these items that are gray, if you can see that on the screen, are automatically populated into this template from the database and the information in the system. And if there's items in here that those line items that you typically have for your bids, we can put them on here as well as either a user-defined field or create standard fields for you where they're automatically populated and then placed on the proposal. And the way you add those to a template, so let's pretend like we're doing this for live here. I can go in here and add what we call a merge field, which is a database field, and just say, you know, the bid amount, okay? Give it some formatting, add that. I just added it right here. You can see, you're going to see how easy that is. I just added it right there. And then when I view it with sample data, you'll see that it pre-populates it directly into the template. If I think that's what you're asking me.
Yeah. And then we would just type in that exact number where somewhere in our proposal, right? That's how it enters the database?
Yes.
To begin with?
Yes.
In order to get pulled onto this?
Yes.
What? Bid tab? Okay.
Or one of the things that, you know, realistically, what some of our customers do when they go into the actual proposal is some items are automatically populated. You know, the customer name, the job address, the job description, things like that. But the reality is there might be an item that they have to manually type in, and that's okay. They take the template, they load it into the system, and then they just make a minor change to say, per our agreement, this bid expires June 2018. You know, where you usually have a standard 30-day expiration or something like that. You know, I'm making this up, but I'm just trying to help you understand how, in reality, it's used. Okay. But you can see here, you know, we put the customer's first name in the letter. We filled in the company name, the primary contact at the customer, the address of the job, even the person submitting the actual proposal. We put those all in here that are populated automatically from the database or the job or the information about the job. And let me show you. There it is. So I type that in myself. Hal is the first name. It's addressed to the, you know, officially location, job name, and it filled in the person submitting the proposal.
Hey Dave, this is Dana. I got a question.
Hey Dana.
So I noticed back on your quote builder, you were able to pull in, looked like you could import something from Excel, right?
Yes, sir.
Would you be able to set up a grid like they would do with those 4 items and just have
Yes.
it put into that document in a particular spot?
Yes. I'm going to show you how to do that real quickly. So that's a great question. So I have an Excel worksheet that I've prepared for this job. Okay. And let's go look at it. Now you can even edit the worksheet in TopBuilder if you want to. Typically you're not. Typically you're going to do this on your hard drive. But let's say I have this worksheet and I have those four line items that we just discussed. And let's say that's B2 to D13. So B2 to D13. Actually, let's bring it all the way down to F15 so you can show the total. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and edit my proposal and say, look, I want on there a line item breakdown. I'm going to put it down here. And I'm going to take that right out of Excel. Pick the document that I have, because you might have multiple documents in your proposal. I want this pricing, and I want the range to be B2 to F15. I'm going to put some borders around that. Okay? And when I view it, there's your breakdown. Now let's say I don't like the way that looks because of the page break. Let me move that down. Let me save it. Okay. And now when I view my proposal, it's going to pull in all that data from Excel right where I placed it. Okay. So there it is. So those could be the items from your worksheet. And you can see how it matched the font, by the way, to look and match the rest of the document, which is beautiful. I still don't like my line breaks, and I'm an obsessive person. So I'm going to go ahead and go here and insert a line break right there. Page break. Now it's better. Preview it. And you can also add not only line items or a range of cells from Excel, but an individual cell. Okay. Okay, I put too many page breaks in there, but there you go. There you got it. Does that answer your question, Dana? Okay. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, we saw earlier the tracking like the invoices for a client.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way to track work orders within Sage? Have you worked with like work orders in Sage?
Yes. So the work orders, if we configure your account to accept work orders, the way that would look is you probably have because you're doing both, a list of jobs and a list of work orders in a separate tab. So you have your job history here, but then you have your work order history next to it.
Okay.
And that breaks them out. Otherwise, if you put them all together, it's too hard to sort through them.
Hey, this is Jude. I got another question. Can you build a lead for us? Can you show us how that's done?
Yeah, sure.
And then kind of tying on to that, if you, let's say that, you got a lead, you send a proposal to a lead, and then they go ahead and they say, okay, good, we accept your proposal. What sort of confirmation do we have to enter to change something from a lead or proposal to an awarded job? So second question. And then the third question is do we have to add more information into a lead or potential client in order to make them a job? Because I think last time you said that if you mark that a proposal has been accepted, you can automatically create a job in Sage from inside TopBuilder.
That's correct. Yep. That's what I said.
Can you walk us through those 4?
I'm sorry?
Can you walk us through those couple things?
Yeah, I'm writing it down so I get to it. The creating the new lead is the easy converting to a job and the additional info is real easy, but let me start from the very beginning and walk you through, and then we'll go through and convert it to an awarded job. Okay? And that automatically, when you convert it to an awarded job, that automatically triggers the interface to send it over to Sage and create that job for you. Okay? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, okay, I have a new opportunity. Somebody came to me and said, let's go. We've got a new opportunity. You select the company, the client, or you enter a new client right from here. I don't know.
Could you do new client?
I'm sorry?
Could you do new client?
Absolutely. So here's a new client. So just to go back, I'm going to go say I've got a new customer. And let's say this is that's interesting. Tug Web is on there. Let's make this up. I don't know. I'm just going to put that in there. I don't think I have ExxonMobil in there. And let's say you have a category for them, but hypothetically, if you didn't have a category for them, you can create one right here without leaving the screen. But let's just say they are a equipment owner. I don't know how a producer. I don't know how you categorize your customers. But assume that's your category. You can put them in an industry and sub-industry, assign them to somebody as the kind of their primary contact, put some tags in there. You can put a description. Phone address, and for the sake of making you watch me type, I'll skip over that, and then I'll put I saw a concert of his last night, so I'm going to put Elton John in there as the contact, and then all contact information as well as the primary contact. Now, if you already have somebody in the database, you can just pick them out of there and add them to the contact. Even if they've switched from the old customer to a new customer, you can pick them right out of the system, and then add them to that new customer. Well, I'm going to save that and close it, and you can see it automatically added that account to the opportunity with the primary contact, and then you can put in I don't know how you describe your jobs, but let's just say just making this up, and then you can put all the details. Whatever you need. You may guess that it's a $500,000 job. You don't have to do that. You can say the bids are due on Friday and they're due at noon. Okay? And then it is a real job. Job type. And let's say it's, if it was a one-off job, you'd select one-off job, but this is not a one-off job. Let's say it's new construction or a new project. Give it a priority, a status. This is a qualified opportunity. and the source is, let's say, website. They found you online. Now, from here, what you can do is you can assign workflow to this new job, meaning this is a new qualified lead. Everybody's going to get alerts and reminders that you need to go do things, especially the person that you've assigned to this job. So you may assign this job to somebody in particular, and you can do that. That way they get those alerts that they have a new lead or a new opportunity and a set of tasks. So we're going to go ahead and say this is the, let me go look at the plan here. Okay, let's use this plan. It's a pre-qualified lead. Now I'm going to enter more information about that lead. It's going to take me into it. Okay. All right. And now from here, you can add, if there's more contacts on that job, you can add them. You can add the details. Where is it located? Start date. Let's just say May 1 is when it starts. It'll potentially end. Again, I don't know if this is good or not, but it's a 1 month project. You can set up user-defined fields to track whatever you want to track on that job, or also on that lead itself. Okay. Now, I have that bid and proposal information. I'll come back to that in a second. I have my follow-up plan, which was assigned when I created the lead. I have history for the job. And I shouldn't really have any yet. And by the way, GoToMeeting does this. It slows your computer down a little bit, so I apologize for that. I can add notes and any documents that they may have submitted. So this could be a PDF, this could be a Word document, this could be an image, it could be basically anything you want to add to that job, you can do from here. And so you can have multiple documents. You know, it can have all the details that you need to bid that job out right there. And then we have the job history for ExxonMobil. I don't have any yet because it's a new customer. And then financial history and the estimate history. I don't have anything yet. Okay, but now that I'm here, let's say you've moved them into bid, you started preparing the bid and you can change their status. And you'll see that we're going to get a new plan. That goes into place here. Doesn't look like we have one attached to bid and estimating. But now let's go ahead and prepare a proposal real quickly. I'm just going to add one document real quickly just to keep this relatively concise. I'm going to go ahead and say again, just kind of making some of this stuff up. The proposal's in draft mode. It's version number 1. We have ExxonMobil and the job attached to the proposal automatically. I'm going to go ahead and add a document. I'm going to pull that out of my content center. And you know what? I tag all my proposal templates with my name. And so I'm going to do that. Let me see what that looks like just for fun. Okay, that's the one I want. Select it. Now I have my proposal added to my job. Or the document, sorry, the document added to the proposal. Cover letter. I want this to be the first one that shows up in the proposal. Done. It's there. I can view it. Say, okay, got it. The information is added. If you noticed, there's a little area here that's missing, and that's because I didn't put a job address in there. Okay, so if I had a job address in there, it would show up. Let's go do that now. Having a little fun, if you can imagine. So let's go into the job details, and we'll just put 1, 2, 3, Maine, Houston, Texas. There we go. Oh, it's trying to auto-populate for me. There we go. Save it. Go back to the bid and the proposal. Okay, view it. You know what? I don't think I put an email address in for Elton John, so let's do that right now because we're about to email this out. So let's go in and add one for him. I'll put my Gmail account in there. Oh, auto-populate's killing me. Save it. Go back to that opportunity. Okay, go to the proposal. Now let's send it. And it's automatically going to change the status to bid submitted for us. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and email it. Now we've got the address on there. We can add addresses. We have, you know what? The address didn't show up on there because that was for the primary contact, not the job. Sorry for that. My mistake. But you can imagine that if I had the address for the customer, it would be on there. Okay. I've got the actual proposal itself ready to go. Okay. And now I'm going to get an email alert when it goes out. Go ahead and send it. Proposal has been sent. And now when I go back into that job, you'll see that the status is now bid submitted. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an alert because I've sent that proposal out, and when they open the proposal, I'm going to get a text alert and I'm going to get an email alert. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, okay, the customer accepted that job, and I'm going to go ahead and move that to job awarded status. Okay. And this Jude, is the trigger to send that over to Sage. Okay. Now, there's a couple things that, and this was your third question, that we need to handle before we can actually accurately create a job in Sage. One of the things is we need a job number. Okay. And that's going to depend on how we set you up. We can auto-generate a job number for you based on what we call a job number mask, and typically that's what happens. You know, they use different parameters of the job, like the customer. It could be the customer number, year, and then a sequence number, or something to that effect. Division, sequence number to generate the job number. And then you don't have to enter a job number. It's automatically generated for you. But the other thing that we need to do is ExxonMobil is going to need a Sage customer number to be sent to create that customer in Sage. So you'll have to enter a customer number. And that's just because we're going to use the way you want to enter customer numbers versus an auto-generated number. And that's really all you have to do. Does that answer your question, Jude, or does that address what you wanted me to do?
Yeah. Is it possible where, like, you know, someone on the team can, like, say that the job has been accepted and then it goes to, like, a project manager or, you know, assistant project manager or someone like that, and then they double check all the information and make sure it's all correct before they actually submit it to Sage to create a new client and new job?
Yes, and we do that for other customers already. And the way that would work is you would have a status that says job accepted. Let's just say that, and that status would have a workflow attached to it that would trigger the project manager or an administrator or a manager to actually approve the job. And what we would do is we would restrict this list of statuses so that if you don't have the right privileges in the system, you can't trigger it to go to Sage, if that makes sense. So only people with the right authority can approve that job and have it go over to Sage is the bottom line. And we do that for very good reason. Some of our customers have some very, very large jobs. And as soon as you send that information over to Sage or send that information over to accounting, materials are ordered, you know, things start happening. And they do not want some untrained folks in the company accepting these jobs, and parts start getting ordered and equipment starts getting ordered and all these things start happening when it hasn't gone through an approval process. So I know I just gave you a really long answer to a yes or no question, but I just want to give you a flavor for how we've handled that with other customers.
Okay. And then before changing the status, can you require like something like, you know, a document to be uploaded with a signature, or, you know, an email to be uploaded with a signature, or is there any sort of
we can. Yes, we can. I mean, those would be unique configurations for you, but that sounds like a very reasonable request to say, hey, look, if we're moving it into a certain status, well, yeah, we require certain information. That's totally reasonable.
Hey, Dave, Eric's got a question.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, if this ExxonMobil was already a client of ours and we had a job number set up for them already, but wanted to, once we accepted this work, wanted to make a new work order under that existing job number, would we be able to link all this to a work order?
Yes. Tying it to the job, I would have to think about. That'd be, to me, that's kind of like a change order.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
No. The way we run things is we use our work orders for those small individual jobs. So they get billed separately. They invoice completely separate from the overall job. We just use the job as a structure, right? So, like, for instance, let's say ExxonMobil, we're going to use a job number to classify all their one-off little projects, right? So they want us to send a crane over to one of their holding tanks to fix one of their stairs or something like that with the welders, right? Yeah. All right, there's $1,500. That gets invoiced completely separate, right? It gets signed there on the job by the company man or company representative at ExxonMobil. That work order's done. Boom, right? You submit it to AR, they invoice it. The very next day, they want a load of pipe hauled from Houston to West Texas. So we go ahead and haul a load of pipe, you know, that's $5,000, and we invoice that. We don't create a new job in Sage for each one of those small little projects, right?
Yep. Those are the one-offs.
So,
yeah.
Those are the ones, but we use work orders to track all of those. all go down, right? It's usually, you know, one area manager or, you know, vice president who oversees all of that stuff, right? So that's why we classify it underneath one job. It's in a specific area of their operations.
Right. So
we're wondering, how do we manage work orders with, let's say, a quick bid, or just in this process, right, of setting up a new work order?
Sure. There's a couple ways of doing that. And right now, you can, if you're creating a work order as it's a separate opportunity that you'll manage, close out, and as you said, bill for separately. You can track it by creating a user-defined field to say, we're tracking it against this job number, if that's what you need to do. Outside of that, I would have to think about it, but that is one way that you can certainly track that work order back to an original customer or job, which is tied to a customer. Okay. So I understand what you said. I totally get it. It is not a change order. It's a separate piece of work, but you want to tie it potentially to a job. And bill it separately.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do it through user-defined fields, or another way that we can set up specifically for your company to track a job or a work order back to another job. It's like a parent-child kind of or master kind of detail thing.
But I'm assuming that'd be pretty difficult to create that in a way for Sage to create a new work order, because that's what would need to happen, right? It would need to go into tell Sage to create a new work order. Would that be possible, or would we have to create a work order in Sage and then link this to that existing work order in Sage, since it's not really part of the core functions of TopBuilder?
No, I believe that we'll be able to create the work order in Sage as well. I don't think there's a limitation on that, just because we're doing it. I'll double check on this for you, but I don't see why we wouldn't be able to create a work order in Sage if we have a work order number, and tying it to a job is independent of that, right? So if you want to create a work order, have it created in Sage, I think that's perfectly doable. I will double check, but I don't see a limit on why we couldn't do that.
Okay, sounds good.
But let me
know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to put some elaboration on that, just so you know. Others are doing that right now, so it's not a limitation with the API. So that's doable. And then on the other side of that, be aware that each work order has a section in it that you can assign a job to right on the work order. So it gives you that functionality in the work order right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, that pretty much verifies it for me. I was going to go dust off the spec for the Sage Contractor 100 API, but if it's there, there's no reason why we can't handle it.
Yep.
We just did a code walkthrough of that spec last week, and it's pretty straightforward. So I don't see anything stopping us from doing that.
Okay. Kind of a side question is, are you currently supporting Sage, or how soon are you going to launch that?
The 30th is the date, which is a week away.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I got a couple more questions if you got time.
Sure.
Can you walk us through the calendar function? How can you visually see when projects or jobs are starting and ending, and can you drag and drop them to adjust, timing, and then that way visually you can kind of see how they're all overlapping each other and
right
what your estimated capacity would be?
Right. So we have something called a job board that we're currently working on, and the job board is designed to address specifically what you're asking it to do. Maybe not necessarily with a drag and drop feature, but to take a job or jobs with all the resources that we call them resources that you have on the job, and put them on a calendar in a time frame, which becomes the job board. So based on the start date and the end date, you have a job, a description of the job, the customer, and then the resources that are deployed to that job. Now, the reality is, just because the job starts on one day and ends on one day doesn't necessarily mean that piece of equipment's on that job that whole time. So the way we want to handle it is those resources on the job will have a roll-on date and a roll-off date as well. I can't show it to you because it's not ready, but that's what we've got planned.
Gotcha.
And those we call it a job board, and the calendars can integrate with your Outlook or your whatever calendar you're using with an appointment that you can save to your calendar.
Okay. Yeah, we currently use our Outlook calendars to manage a lot of that, so
yeah,
it would work well. When do you think that would be ready?
Well, I just got a phone call this morning to really put some heat under it. It's scheduled for well, I mean broadly this summer, but it looks like it's going to have to move up. And it's actually a Sage customer that's really pushing me for this. So if you could, let me talk to that customer and see what kind of sense of urgency it is, and then get back to you with a date. But it sounds like it's going to be pushed up in the schedule probably to end of May, I would say. But I'll confirm. I assume that was you, Jude, and I'll confirm that with you, along with everybody else on the call. Hey, Jude, do you have an example of one that you might use today that you would mind sharing with us?
What?
A job board.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can just send you a screenshot of our calendar.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Is that an Outlook calendar, or is that a different kind of like calendar that you use to track the jobs?
That's an Outlook calendar, an Outlook room shared amongst the team.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that. And of course, anything you shared with us won't leave the office here. Well, guys, and Kelly, we're happy to answer any question that you have at any time. You can reach out to us or reach out to Dana if you have any questions, or if you want a follow-up demo. We'd be happy to go through it with you. I am recording this, so if you'd like to see the recording, it will be available.